So one last guest speaker, and then we'll get into the fifth discussion that was posted at the end of last week.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'll walk over what Lotus miner plans and milestones in Q3 are. So this is the milestones that we will work towards in Q3. If you checked out the This Week in Lotus newsletters, some of these milestones might be a bit familiar to you, but let's dive in. First of all is synthetic power-ups. You can go to the next slide, Porter. So synthetic power-ups has been accepted by the core devs, and it has also been scheduled for the next network upgrade. The timeline for the network upgrade is still to be announced, but it will potentially be in Q3. The biggest highlight for synthetic power-ups is that it reduces the temporarily seeding data needed to be stored between pre-commit and pre-commit. So basically the wait seed period from 400 gigabytes to under 25 gigabytes. We're looking to wire everything up fairly soon, and we'll start testing this on the Butterfly network, which is a internal developer network that we have within the Lotus team. So if you're also eager to test this out and make it sure that it works properly before we move on to calibration network, so please reach out to us if you want to help out with that. Yeah, next slide. Then we have the supranational PC2 and C2 sealing code. As Alice talked about a bit earlier today, the DSA has created, together with supranational and partners, some really amazing improvements in the sealing code. From that effort, there's basically two software types, one greenfield and one brownfield software. The greenfield software basically needs special hardware, which is a bit different from today, while the brownfield software is basically a rip and replace code compared to what we have today. So that's why in the Lotus miner we will initially focus on PC2 and C2 because it's easily replaceable with the current proofs. And if we go to the next slide, we have some early benchmarks for the PC2 code. It's basically, we're looking at 70 to 80% reduction in the PC2 part. And since this is a very GPU heavy task, the improvements here will directly translate into lower energy consumption, lower hardware needs, and of course, faster sealing. If you go to the next slide, Porter, we have some benchmarks for the C2 code. So this is also reducing the sealing here approximately 80%. And C2 is also very GPU heavy, as you may know. So this will directly translate into cost savings, which is really good. And both of these changes will support deal data as well as CC sectors. Yeah, we can go to the next slide. In Q2, we paired up with the proofs team to basically look at how we can make unsealing a lot better. The unsealing code hasn't been touched for quite some time. It's very difficult, basically because unsealing needs the sealed sector as well as doing basically the pre-commit part, pre-commit one part all over again. So that means that a Lotus worker needs to be attached to the long-term storage where the sealed sector are for it to function properly. And that's why a lot of SPs feel that it only works on the Lotus miner process because the Lotus miner process knows where all the data is. We've gotten quite far. The proofs team generated a lot of new APIs for us that we can start leveraging, and we want to like finish off that milestone in Q3. So that there are basically two PRs that needs to be opened. One is for fixing snap deals unsealing and just cleaning up the code all over. For example, like cleaning up, making sure that the sealed data gets moved back again, and that PR is up and is currently in review. Next phase of the unsealing enhancements is basically allowing the sealed sector to be streamed from the long-term storage, which means that you don't have to like connect the Lotus worker doing unsealing to the long-term storage path to make it work. So that will hopefully make unsealing a lot better experience, and it should like feel like a pre-commit one sealing task.